The offensive is escalating by Israeli Defense Forces, but the caught in the crossfire are innocent, unarmed civilians, the ones that were attacked on Saturday. The first trigger point, the first attack that came to the fore in the wee hours of Saturday when the music festival was attacked by Hamas terrorists. Since then, we've seen several hostages being taken as well. Joining us here on this broadcast is someone who unfortunately has her parents that are held hostage by Hamas terrorists. Sharone Lifschitz joining us live from London. Sharone, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. I understand these are difficult times, unfortunate circumstances that we are speaking in. And I thank you so much for joining us and taking out the time and speaking to us about what really is happening there. If I could ask you, when was the last time you had contact with your parents?
I had contact with them, my family had contact with them on Saturday morning. So about an hour and a half after the start of the the offensive by Gaza on Israel.
And since then, has there been no contact with anyone else perhaps that they lived with, or anyone from the Israeli administration that has gotten in touch with you to let you know what has transpired in the last 6 days?
We have not heard of them. There's been a list released of 120 hostages, but we are not on that list. My parents are not on that list.
Ms. Lifschitz, I just want to ask you this. We do know that several people have been held hostage. The administration there in Israel is still trying to account for a lot of them. But if you're saying that those your parents' names are not on the list, how did the news actually reach you that they were taken hostage by Hamas terrorists?
We know that the Hamas have been there. They have killed and maimed and destroyed and raped and done every crime against humanity. We know that when my parents' house was finally reached by the Israeli forces, they were not there and they were not found. So the bodies were not found, and on the basis of that and of account by people that were there, we know that many people, about 80 people out of my little community, are missing and held hostages. We know people that were taken and then managed to run away that have told us the stories.
And we've heard the kind of barbarism that we've witnessed over the last few days, stories that are coming to the fore of absolute shock, of the kind of treatment, the kind of hostilities that have been imposed on innocent civilians by Hamas terrorists. If I could ask you, your parents were there very close to the Gaza Strip. In what capacity were they there? For how long were they living there? And what really have they experienced so far before, of course, terror struck on Saturday?
My parents are 85 and 83. They've spent their life building this little kibbutz called Nir Oz, which is less than a mile than Gaza Strip. In previous years, many years ago, we had very close relationship with our neighbors before things got hotter. But my parents always fought for peace. My father was always a peace activist. He spent his retirement day a week driving Palestinian people to and from the Gaza Strip to hospital in East Jerusalem, which is the divided part of the Palestinian territories, and between other Israeli hospitals. He believed in humanity. He believed in finding a way to live together, in supporting each other, humanity. He never felt that we are here and they are there and they don't count. It's quite a cruel twist of the fate that such a peace-loving community is the one to be at the far front of such an atrocity.
And it's not really the Palestinian cause or the aspirations of the Palestinian people that really is what Hamas stands for, isn't it? They'd like the world to believe that. But they are a terror organization, and all that they have done is put unarmed innocent civilians in the middle of this crossfire. Unfortunately, your parents are also among them.
Yes, and they're taken simply for being of, Jewish or Israeli. But I totally agree with you that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people, that the Palestinian people of Gaza are under a very cruel and totalitarian regime in which there is no space for dissenting voices. And so we know for sure that these people cannot speak freely. I think that the rest of the world should now treat the Palestinian people and the Hamas terrorist organization as two very different things. And I'm very happy to hear that in the media in India, you are making such a clear distinction between the two. It is harder to achieve that in the West.
Absolutely, that's really what it is. We should call a spade a spade. This is a terror organization unleashing terror on civilians, on the unarmed, on the innocent, and that's really what it is. That's really where we should draw the line. One last question before I let you go, Ms. Lifschitz. What is it that now you would want from the Israel government, from the administration, at the very least, perhaps some kind of communication to you?
I would like to do everything, to risk everything, to return the parents, the grandparents, the babies, the children, the disabled, the spectrum children. We want them back. We lost our home. Our home is burned down, but we want them back to our community so we can try and help them to regain some sense of security and normality. This is absolutely urgent. We cannot bury the dead. We don't care now about, we need to work for their immediate release. It's against any convention to have them held hostage. You do not take an 85-year-old woman off her oxygen as a hostage. This is just pure quality. There's not about me and them. There's just human decency. We look after our people, and our people are the citizens of this universe.
Absolutely, this is a crime against humanity. It's not against one nationality. It's not against one particular country. It is against humanity, and that's what really it should be. We really do hope, Ms. Lifschitz, that you get in touch with your parents at the earliest. And thank you so much for speaking with us at such difficult times. Thank you for taking the time out.